Hello everybody, it's Mr. Bill here with a couple of more songs and one more story here for the last week of school. A little bonus program for you. First song we're going to do is Stop, Look, Listen to Your Heart. So sing whatever I sing, whatever line I sing, you sing that right back to me. I'll pretend I'm hearing you at home. We'll go through the song like that, and then I've got a nice story for you. Stop, look, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Stop, look, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Kind, be kind, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Stop, look, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Give and forgive, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Stop, look, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Live in peace, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Stop, look, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Be the truth, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Stop, look, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Do your best, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Stop, look, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. And be happy, don't worry, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Again, be happy, don't worry, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Stop, look, listen to your heart, hear what it's saying. Stop, look, and listen to your heart. It's a song by the great African-American group in the 1970s, the Stylistics, my own arrangement of the song. Now we're going to journey all the way to the great land of India for a fairy tale from India, and I'm going to introduce it with a little tune from India on my recorder. A long, long time ago in the great state of Rajasthan in western India, a Raja, a king, that's the Indian word for king, was sitting with his 3 daughters. They were chit-chatting, having a nice time being together, just sort of sharing some time together. And all of a sudden, the Raja, the king, got a serious expression on his face. And he looked at his daughters and he said, "Tell me, my dears, who would you like to marry?" So the oldest daughter said, "I want to marry the richest prince in the kingdom." And the middle daughter said, "I want to marry the handsomest prince in the kingdom." Now the youngest daughter, her name was Purnima. She was her father's favorite. She kept quiet. She didn't say a word. "Purnima, come," said her father. "Who would you like to marry?" So Purnima said, "Father, I trust your judgment. I will marry whoever you choose for me." Whoever said the oldest, whoever said the middle, who else said the oldest, why don't you make her marry a beggar? Yes, said the middle daughter, make her marry a beggar. And so these two other daughters, who were very jealous of the younger sister, started chanting, make her marry a beggar, make her marry a beggar, make her marry a beggar. And that king, just to prove that his favorite daughter would be true to her word to him, said, Purnima, I command you this very moment to go out the palace gate, marry the first beggar you meet, and go off and live with him in the countryside. Yes, father, she said. So some things were packed in a bag, and followed by the royal priest, they went to the great golden doors of the palace. And they swung open, and she didn't have to look far, for there, seated in a straw basket, right at the edge of that palace gate, was a young, scrawny man whose legs and arms were all twisted and deformed so that he could only hold out one hand, so that some kind soul could give him a few coins or a few morsels of food. And that's how this young man had lived from day to day for such a long, long time. But on this day, that outstretched hand won him the hand of the lovely Princess Purnima in marriage. They were married on the spot. Well, her father had told her to go off and live with him in the countryside. This poor fellow couldn't even walk. So she picked up that basket with him in it and placed it on her head, just like a village woman would go to the well and put a big jug of water after she'd filled it on her head and take it back to her family. And they set off to live in the countryside. And what a hard life they had. He couldn't work. So she took him from town to town and village to village and house to house, and she did very, very ordinary work. She cooked for people, she cleaned their houses, she sewed and mended clothes. Sometimes she babysat for the children so the mother could go out and work with her husband, tilling the fields on the farm. The days and weeks went by, and pretty soon, her lovely princess's clothes began to look kind of raggedy and kind of worn. But as those days and weeks went by, she came to be very, very fond of that strange-looking husband of hers. There was something in his eyes that drew her to him. Well, it so happened that one hot, hot summer day, they were near a town, and they were at the edge of a big, big, beautiful lake that was near this town. It was the middle of the day, and they were both very thirsty. And so her husband spoke to her and said, Purnima, would you mind going into town and getting us some oranges? This would be a great way to satisfy our thirst. You can set me down here right by the water and I'll be fine. Just go to town. So she set him down by the lake, went off into town to get the oranges, and he's kind of looking at the lake. It was so hot, there was hardly a breath of fresh air. And there was no breeze, there was hardly a ripple on the lake, and all of a sudden his eyelids started to get kind of droopy, and then he noticed something. Circling around and around and around and around in the sky was a big dark crow, and all of a sudden that crow dived in the water and disappeared. That's odd, he said to himself. I've never heard of anything like that happening. Well, about 30 seconds went by, and about 100 feet out of the water, 100 feet out in the water, what emerged from the water was not a crow, but a beautiful white swan. And it started to flap its wings ever so gracefully, and it flew off into the distance. And Purnima's husband said, oh, I've just seen this lake change a crow into a beautiful swan. It's got magical healing waters. Maybe it can make me a normal young man. I've got to get in that water. So he grabbed the sides of the basket and began to rock back and forth and rock back and forth and rock back and forth till the basket flipped over and he rolled into that water and got totally soaking wet, all except for one little pinky finger, which somehow didn't get wet. And as soon as he hit that water, he felt strength and energy pouring into him. He felt himself straightening out, growing taller, growing muscle. And within a couple of minutes, he stood up and he was a normal young man. Well, he's in the lake, facing the water, and he hears a voice behind him saying, excuse me, sir, have you seen my husband? I brought him some oranges. He turned around and looked at her and he said, Purnima, it's me. What do you mean it's you? She said. You don't look anything like my husband. What did you do? Rob him and throw him in the lake? No, 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 Purnima. Listen, this lake has magical healing powers in its water. I saw it change a crow into a swan. It's made me into a normal young man. Look, when I got in that water, somehow this little pinky finger didn't get wet. It hasn't been healed. Watch what happens when I put it in the water. And he put that pinky finger in the water and it came out true and straight and strong, just like the rest of him. Oh, Purnima was so happy. She came and gave him a big hug. And then he spoke to her and said, Purnima, I want to tell you my story. I'm not really that scrawny young man you found and took to your heart who was living in that basket at the gate of your palace. I'm really a prince from a nearby kingdom. And one day I was out with my hunting party and we were chasing these deer, and I became separated from them, and I was chasing this one particular deer. I lost the deer, and suddenly I found myself in a very strange part of my kingdom. I didn't know where I was. I had to go and ask for directions on how to get back to the palace. Well, the first little house I came to was very, very eerie looking. When I knocked on the door and the door opened, who should answer the door but a witch? And that witch cast a spell on me. And that spell decreed that I had to become a helpless, deformed beggar at the gate of your palace till someone would come along and care about me, not for what I look like on the outside, but what I really am on the inside. And you are that special person. And we've stuck together, and you've stuck with me all these weeks, gone through all these hardships and everything. And I'm so proud of you, Purnima. And as your reward now, you shall return with me to my kingdom and become my queen and live in my palace. And Purnima became not only a kind and gracious queen, but a very wise and able ruler as well. And that's the story from India of the Magic Lake. I've got one more song for you, and it's a new song. We haven't sung it before, but it was written by a very fine songwriter friend of mine, Bobby Bernstein. And it's a song it's good to sing for the times we're going through. It's a very true song, a real song. It's called We All Need Each Other. And those words repeat themselves 3 times throughout the song. That's the part you can sing with me. We all need each other. We all need each other. We all need each other. Have you father, mother, sister, or brother? Grandparents, uncles, aunts, cousins too. They may be great friends for you. Friends can be young or old, teens, girls, boys. Read books, shoot baskets like dolls or toys. Not hear well, wear braces, have no sight. Large or small, left-handed or right. We all need each other. We all need each other. We all need each other. Take some time to be a sister or brother. Reach out with love to someone new. Maybe that person sees a friend in you. Friends can have Jewish, Christian, Hindu ties, be Buddhists, Muslims, or Baha'is, even Russian, Irish, African, Malay. They may live close by or far away. We all need each other. We all need each other. We all need each other. All races can be sisters and brothers. The outside is just one small part. What counts is found in every heart. Friends will laugh, cry, sing, and play. be happy, silly, scared, mad in every which way. Most of us like good meals and fun holidays. Truly we're all one is what I want to say. We all need each other. We all need each other. We all need each other. People. We all need each other. Animals. We all need each other. Birds and fish. We all need each other. Trees and plant life. We all need each other. Our Mother Earth. We all need each other. All His children now. We all need each other. There you go, everybody, and I want to wish you a very, very happy, happy summer. So, bye-bye, everybody. Till next time. See you next time.